Hello, Facebook. Okay, give me a moment. I am just getting, this is our Transformation Tuesday, and I'm just going to get Bailey on. So let me just invite her. There we are. This is always like, ooh, is it gonna work? Great. Okay. So, all right, so this is Jamie Zazara. Hello, thank you for coming on. I'm going to wait a second for Bailey to get on and join us. Let me pull up my Facebook now. Let's see. All right, so if you see this, Bailey, you're going to accept. I'm going to try it one more time to invite you so then you can join in. Let's see. So how's everybody doing? It feels like it's later in the week. There you go. Okay, so here we go. There you are. We're getting... All right, so Bailey's coming on now. Should just be a second.
Let's see. Did it! Yay, tech!
Yay. It's so exciting when it comes on. I'm always like those few minutes that I'm like, okay, I gotta get it on.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
we're not work yet. Here we are.
Yes. So I just want to introduce, so everybody, this is, my name is Jamie Zazara. I'm creator of Be Happy, Be Free, where I empower women to, so you want your phone to be long waves, like horizontal. Yeah, like that. So Bailey and I met at Tara Romano's Your Life Unleashed event, and she was one of the guest speakers there. And I knew Tara had told me about you, that we should connect because you already have done a lot of the things that I'm just now stepping into. So it was amazing. You did such a wonderful job. It was great to meet you. Your session at the event was amazing. I got your book, so I knew I wanted to have you on. And actually, I don't even have the book with me. And I was like, shoot, I lent it to my friend because I was like, oh no, I don't have it with me to hold it up so I can show everyone. But yeah, you have it. There you go. And I just have to tell a story real quick, because when I saw your book cover, right? So, I'm writing a book and I'm going through the whole thing, and like people kept like, your book exactly how it is how I almost envisioned the watercolor in the background. Just not the same colors or anything, a little different, but it's awesome. So thank you for being here.
I love that. Amazing. It's so funny because I think that sometimes we have something come into our mind and then our paths cross and it's like a confirmation.
Yes. So you know what? Why don't you just tell everybody a little, your story, really, kind of what led you. You have a really powerful story of what led you to what you're doing now. So we'd love to hear it.
Absolutely. So thank you again, Jamie, for having me on for Transformation Tuesday. So I am a psychotherapist, a coach, and an author of Own Your Power, which we also have a podcast for it. And I love what you said, so many of the things that I'm doing right now are things that Tara was like, okay, Jamie, I know you want to do those things. You got to connect with this girl, right? And I think there's a lot to be said for getting inspired by other people. I think so often, especially with social media, and I love that we're doing this right now on Facebook Live. And I think that times when it comes to social media, we can get caught in this like compare and despair trap where we see what other people are doing and we're like, well, they already did it. Like, oh, I can't do it. They already wrote the book or had the podcast or talked about the thing. And we almost talk ourselves out of doing the big things that we want to do. But then, and this is what I always say, and it's really funny, and you having being from New Jersey and now you're in Florida, but you'll appreciate it. And I say, yes, but how many Tony's pizzas are there? You know, how many pizzas go out of business? Like, it doesn't happen. And that's why I believe that there's room for everybody. And something to be said for us having this conversation in the collective consciousness, right? Like, you're talking, I'm talking about it. I was listening to this amazing podcast today where they're talking about like that place of trusting ourselves and listening within. And we can't all be talking about the same thing and be wrong.
Yes, absolutely. I find like, so it's funny you just brought that up because I just had a conversation earlier with someone with an author who I took her course of, you know, she's amazing. And same thing. We both were in like network marketing, and we both were in a space at a time where when we saw other people's success, we felt like we weren't good enough. Like, okay, they're achieving it, but I'm not, you know, and then whoops. Uh-oh. It's okay.
My tripod is not happening.
That's okay. I finally got it sorted out. It like took me a while to get my whole thing like situated. I tried it on my computer. I tried every which way, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just doing it on my phone. Like, it works best. And yeah, but you're absolutely right in that those feelings of like jealousy, comparison, and all of that is like low vibrational, right? So like, yeah, maybe another, you know, 2 years ago, I may have been threatened by you, and I wouldn't have come up to you and said, hey, I'd like to learn and collaborate with you, rather than feeling like I'm not worthy almost. Yeah.
You're so right. And I think that, and I love that you use the word vibration. And I know it's a word that people like, they're not really sure what that means. But I love that you use that word because I think that you're dead on. I think that it's about us doing the work on ourselves, and then we feel the worthiness, we feel the confidence, we feel the conviction, we own our power, right? We own our power and we step into like, something about that person I'm drawn to, let me create a connection. And you never know where things can grow from there. And to me, I always think they have the opportunity to grow and evolve when we're listening to our true self.
Yes. Right. So what would you say to people? Okay, so tell me about your background, because you so you're a psychotherapist. You had a practice, but now you no longer, you stepped into a different realm using your experience. So what kind of made, you know, just tell us a little bit about your experience.
Absolutely. So I was that traditional psychotherapist. You lay on the couch, I sit in the chair, I crack into your brain, has the like leather couch, the waterfall feature, the whole thing. And for me, it was my favorite clients to work with were ambitious and driven. They would, say, this is what I want, or I don't know what I want, but I want to get out of this stuck spot and move forward from there. And it quickly evolved into a coaching practice, because what I found was my number one value, right? We have to be driven by our values. So it's important to get clear about what they are. And we don't have to have 30 values, really just like having 3 is pretty good. Having even one North Star is pretty good. But for me, my number one value more than anything is freedom. Freedom of my time, freedom of my choice, freedom of everything. Like, I don't even drink caffeine because I don't want to get a caffeine headache if I don't have it. So I have freedom from that. Like, it's just silly, but it's like just freedom.
Good for you.
And I share this with you because it's one of the reasons why I transitioned my practice from psychotherapy to coaching, was giving me more freedom of where I could be location-wise. And I also found that my favorite clients, like you, like me, ambitious, driven, we're busy. We don't have time to drive, to leave our office, drive to someone else's office, sit in their waiting room, then drive back. This interface was infinitely easier and far more accessible too. So that was about 6 years ago. We're stepping into our 6th year in practice, and yeah, it's been an amazing transition. And I mean, no transitions don't happen without their bumps in the road, but I think that those are things that we are learning from and allows our trajectory to continue to grow.
So you Yeah, I totally get what you mean because people ask me and they're like, well, how do you like it's amazing the technology that we have. Number one, this is so cool that where do you live? You live in New Jersey, right? Yeah.
I get this question, where do I live? Because we split our time. So we're in New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to come to all of those places.
We do an annual retreat in Puerto Rico every
Do
winter. So
you?
we just booked our February 2020 dates.
Oh my gosh. You know, where in Puerto Rico? Because my good friend is from there. We were thinking of going this summer, actually.
Oh, love it. Rincon. So Rincon,
Oh,
California. Gorgeous. It's like where the Caribbean meets the Atlantic. I love it. I love it. I love it. So good.
it's really good for surfing too, right?
Well, and that's the thing. It's where my husband and I met 10 years ago. Crazy enough.
Ah,
Oh, I
that's
know.
awesome. So it has a special place. So I gotta move these notifications. I keep getting notifications. So wow. All right. So you basically you choose where you live, like based upon the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which is great because we do different on location things, such as retreats. We do couple national, couple retreats a year. We have a coach training program, and that meets in person 3 times a year in New Jersey. So
Okay.
sometimes we do on site, but most everything in our practice is online, which is great because that allows us to serve people from Chicago, Nashville, London, California, New York, and it doesn't necessarily matter where I am or where they are, we're able to connect.
It's amazing. It really, really is. Um, like Zoom is like the best thing ever. Is that what you use for your? Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
So tell me of because you have a very specific, like you talked a little bit about it, but I want to know like who is the person that would want to work with you and how do you assist them? Like specifically, what is your purpose? Like, where you feel you help people most. I know you said you mostly work with driven, like entrepreneurs, and just kind of walk me through, like, 'cause I know you have a book, but you also have a coaching program. So what does that look like?
So we actually are a personal development company. So it's myself and we have a team of coaches and
Mm,
help people to master their mindset. And the perfect clients for us are leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, doctors, people who are really leading a charge and in their industry. And what I find is that more often than not, they're faced with one of two problems. One of the problems can be I'm feeling stuck and I'm not really sure what I want or where I want to go next, but I know that where I am right now isn't where I want to be, right?
mhm.
Problem number one. Problem number two can often be like, I want to get over there, but I'm really not sure how to do it, and helping them create a roadmap with either thing that somebody navigates. Ultimately what we like to do is help them to create a clear roadmap to achieve their goals, and that comes down to mastering their mindset because the mind is what's calling shots on everything.
It does. It does.
Yes.
It's like, when you say, oh, you're on a journey, you know what I mean? Like that person is tapped into like personal development and, because there's a lot of people that just kind of they just kind of stay status quo and they don't really actually understand themselves or open that to figure out like, why do I do what I want? Like, why do I'm that type of person. Just like you reminded me a lot of myself when I heard your story. Like you just want more. Like, is this it? Like, you work so hard, and it's like, you know what? I want to enjoy life. I don't want to wait until I'm like retired. Like I want that to be now. I want to make an impact, but also enjoy my life and have that balance. And I think a lot of people they don't even think that that's possible for them.
Right, right. Completely. It's funny because as we're talking about that, I think that, yes, the first step is about owning your power. And within owning your power, there's a process, right? we have to get clear about what's holding us back, because frankly, we will stub our toe on that same rock day in and day out, over and over again, until we shine the flashlight and really figure out like what's holding us back. Then it's about like rewriting our mindset, right? Rewriting the stories that we're telling ourselves, those beliefs that keep us locked in to the stuck spot or to the not quite there yet spot, right? And then from there, it's about creating the new story, right? What's the story that you actually want to believe? Creating that new story, because all of those new stories are what fortify the beliefs going forward. Those new stories are the ones that help us to create the goals. And more often than not, it's those new stories that help us to create the actions that actually have the life that we want come to fruition. So I believe that it's that first step of owning your power. Now, the next thing is like, okay, now what? And it's because I've been in the process of working on my second book, and it's actually taking a lot longer than the first one. And I share this with you because I also think that this is a dilemma that we face as ambitious and driven people, is sometimes we're running for our goal. We cross the finish line, right? And we either want to lay down and die because we're exhausted, or we get into the place of saying like, now what? Now what? Now that we've achieved X, Y, and Z, now what? And answering the call of like the now what, is that an internal, like, is that a place of satiation and satisfaction and finding that purpose in yourself? Or is it a place of legacy? Like, is your now, helping to other people to rise, like pulling them up or leaving your impact in the world? I'm curious about this. What do you think?
So I can tell you, so I recently, I'm part of a coaching program, like a purpose-driven business. And honestly, since joining them, so there were different parts of it. And like soul goals, actually, I created a coaching package, or it's like Meditate, Manifest, and Show, my course, right? But doing the soul goals course is actually, it was the first time that I really tapped into like from a soul level, from an inner being level, because I did that same thing my whole adult life. I chased goals, I chased happiness externally, outside of myself. And most people do, like, so I was codependent. I was in like an emotionally traumatic, like toxic relationship for half of my life. So all of those things, I was seeking it, like, and hello, until I did the work. And even after I left it, I had to do the work, because it was like, I'm never going to achieve, I'm not going to be happy if I'm not happy with myself. But also, like, exactly what you're saying, like, yes, I rushed and I didn't enjoy the process, right? Like, you didn't enjoy like the everyday mundane things of like, whatever, making dinner, hanging with your kids, like not being in that like rush to get, you're not living in the moment. You're like 5 steps ahead in your mind, and that's not living. That's not enjoying your life.
Right. It's funny because this month we do a monthly lesson. And one of our programs is called the Mind Rise Collective, and it's an online membership community. And each month we do a different lesson. Each month we have a guest expert. This month it's all about mindfulness. And I love what you're saying, Jamie, because you're right. A lot of times we are 5 steps ahead. I mean, I don't know about you, but my brain is like the internet browser with like 12 tabs open, and I'm doing all the things at once. And there's a certain point where that is a superpower. And then there's a certain point where that is kryptonite. And finding that line, I think, has a lot to do with knowing yourself, knowing when you need to push the throttle, knowing when you need to push the brake.
Absolutely. I was just told this. It's something that I'm working on. I think as driven women, by nature, you're always like on the go, and like you see opportunities and you want to go for it, right? But that balance of keeping your self-care and being in alignment with what's going to keep you like your best self, basically. So that's awesome. So you have so it's you, and you have other coaches that coach as well. That's awesome.
We have a team of coaches, and then we also have a coach training program called the Life and Leadership Coach Training.
Okay.
PT is what we call it, effectively. And we run it, the next cohort is starting in the fall. And we've been running it for a couple of years now. And the thing of it is, we focus on those two important elements at once. And it's life and leadership. It's learning how to be a coach and then how to have a profitable business. Because here's the thing, like the girls, right? And when you want to help people, it's not enough to want to help people. It's about how do you share your unique message in the world. So yeah, and for me, going back to what we're talking about with the second book and coming to that crossroads of now what, for me, when I got to that crossroads, what I found was really true was the importance of legacy and impact. And even as I say, I get chills because it's like I check the boxes of success. And then I ask myself, like, what is important as I move forward? Like, can I do what I'm doing and continue to do it? Like, yeah, no problem. I can rinse and repeat and make six figures and like, okay, good, check. But it's like, what's even more important to me right now? And I said, legacy, like impact, inviting other women to have their own, have their own business, have their own freedom, make their own time, like help others. And yeah, that's where the program was born out of about 3 years ago. And yeah, it's probably one of the things within my business that I'm most proud of is the Life and Leadership Coach training and our team that we've built.
That's amazing. That's awesome. So what do people like apply? So you basically train people. It's kind of like a coaching certification, and then they become coaches. Like, you basically collaborate, or I assume.
So no, they become coaches. They have their own coaching business, and
Oh,
yeah,
right.
hired a couple of them because they've been fabulous, and we've grown, and we've needed, people who were speaking our same language, and their ideal client was in alignment with our ideal client. But yeah, and so far it's been women. I'm really like hoping that we have some men in our next cohort in the fall. But yeah, it's been women from all walks of life, women who are, stepping into that second career and retiring, women who were, they stepped away from their full-time job and they became mom, and now they're like, what about me? Real estate, photographer, teachers. I do have a lot of mental health professionals that are looking to take the leap from traditional therapy and coaching, and they're like, how do you do it? Well, you did it, so I'll follow you. But you know what?
Yeah. I know a few people like that are in your realm that are, trying to make the bridge, to cross over, because what the difference is of what I see, like you're tied to a lot of time and long days having a practice.
Sure.
So you're not having that freedom while you're creating a very successful business. It's very demanding on yourself and your time.
Right. And I think at the end of the day, for all of us, and this goes back to what you were saying of, people not necessarily embracing how much it's important to enjoy life. I think at the end of the day, you have to love what you do. Or there's something else that you're meant to be doing. And for me was, when I took the leap from my traditional practice and I had either wrapped up with clients or sent them to other practitioners, I was also working full-time at that time and as a school social worker. And I will be the first person to say, I was great at the job. I loved the job. And then it got to a point where there was another calling to do something else. And that was hard, right? Because that was one of those jobs that, you're guaranteed, which nothing in life is guaranteed. You can be hit by a bus tomorrow, but you're guaranteed the pension, the benefits, and that you're going to get that paycheck on the 15th and the 30th and all of that. And I stayed, and I was like, okay, well, when is it time for me to take the leap? And I came to an understanding that the longer I held out in something that wasn't speaking to my whole soul, and something else bring to me, and I couldn't go there yet because I was over here and I was doing this. And what I understood to be so true, and I feel compelled to share it, is that when we do something that we either don't want to do or we're just not supposed to be doing, we are taking up a space that somebody else who does really want, they
Mm.
to be there. Even like say this to my girlfriends, like, don't say yes to go out with a guy that you're not that into, because you're taking up like his Saturday night where he could be with somebody else who is into him. You know?
I never thought of it that way. I never
Yeah.
thought of it that way. And that makes a really good point. I've always looked at it like what happens is like, and I feel like I'm at this point right now, actually, is that, when you begin to really tap in to what your purpose is, right? And you just allow, think just opportunities come to you. So then it's like you only have so much time in a day, and you really do want to, so it's a, um, because what happens is too is when you're not living in your purpose, it just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. It doesn't go away. It
Right,
doesn't. It
right.
keeps tugging at you,
Keeps
really.
not. I know. And I don't know about you, but for me, I have found the times when I haven't answered the call, it's like the universe will deliver the lesson to me over and over again until I answer it. And sometimes it starts getting a little feisty and is like, it throws some like real hard curveballs my way. And it's like, but you weren't listening? All right, let me speak a little louder. And I'm like, woo, right? It could sideline us. Um, and we need to start to believe and trust that it's for us. It's what
Yes.
those are happening for us. So, as I was a school social worker for 7 years and
Mhm.
great job, that was somebody's dream, right?
Yeah.
And my dream started to be, to have a coaching practice and to have this freedom, and it's grown beyond the first, version of it. But my dream, and I was sitting in someone else's dream, so I needed to vacate that seat so
Mhm.
someone else could step into their space. And I think that there's a lot of truth to that, that we have to just let go and trust.
Yes.
That's
That's the hardest thing, right? Like surrendering, because I hear that a lot from people. Like, and also people try to hold on and want to know exactly how it's going to transpire. And I'm
right.
sure, right? When you took the leap, like so much more has happened than you could have imagined. And you're absolutely right. Like, universe will like, you think like this one thing is the one thing that's going to be it, right? No, that's not it, because we're not meant to know like the whole story. If we just kind of take the action and we are doing what we're meant to be doing, like it will all eventually play out, as it should.
Right. And I think that's why, and it's a dance that I've had to do, but I think that's why it's so important to get tapped in and tuned into you, because otherwise, if we don't acquaint ourselves with that inner voice, we're going to listen to all the other noise. And the noise can be from outside forces, whether it's a boss or a friend or a parent or whatever. The outside voices can be, coming in on us, but it could also be all that like want garbage in our head too. And I think that's important for us to think about when we do the practices that allow us to tune out the noise and start to tune into this, our soul. Right? Our soul will whisper. And when we turn down the volume on what's not, we're able to turn up the volume on what's really meant to be.
So can you recommend what do you do to stay in alignment? What would
Mm,
you share to someone if someone, because I hear this all the time. I'm just like, you have to meditate. And people are like, I have too much going on in my head to meditate. And I'm like, that's why you have to meditate. Like, it's a practice and it's going to take time.
right. And it's funny because I was definitely one of those people that was like too busy to meditate, like just too busy to meditate. I'm like, I don't have that time. And it has made a major difference in my life. But I'm not going to say meditate. I'm actually going to say drink water. And I'm gonna say drink water. And I could tell you lots of things. I could tell you about journaling. I can tell you about reading, good things. I could tell you about surrounding yourself with tribe, which I think is hugely important. Hugely
Mhm.
important. And the only thing I would put above tribe would be drink water. And I'll say that over and over again because I think that, I mean, we could talk about the physiological benefits, and there's energetic benefits. It's just when we're taking care of ourselves in that way, it's so simple, it's so fundamental. But when we are drinking water and staying hydrated, we're allowing our system to function optimally. And then the rest can fall into place. But I often get this question like, oh, Bailey, what's like that biggest practice, the one that is like your non-negotiable? Like, do you get great sleep, or do you meditate always, or do you like, I don't know, leap tall buildings in a single bound? I was like, it's fine. If I do nothing else in the course of my day, I always drink water. Yeah.
I definitely don't drink enough water. I know it seems so ridiculous, right? Like I know that that's something that's so important, and like I don't know. It is. I know it's so important. And so many people say that. Like you're not the only one that'll be like, just drink water. It sounds so like silly, really. You know what I mean? Because it is simple. And yeah. But most people don't, and then they fill themselves with like sugary, whatever not, or caffeine or anything of them,
Right.
Wow.
And it's not saying like drink water as opposed to Coca-Cola. It's drink water. And it's funny because when and this last retreat really reminded me, whenever we're on retreat, we have a big water cooler there. And I always caution everybody to drink a lot of water because there's heat, and most times, like, it's Puerto Rico, it's winter time. But you're coming from the Northeast or wherever you're coming from. You're coming from cold, so your body's not ready to be hot just yet. So sometimes we forget to hydrate. It's just nature. And I can't tell you, for the last 3, now going on 4 years of doing these retreats, how many people have said to me, Bailey, when I was on retreat, I increased drinking my water so much during that retreat, and I have taken it home with me, and I feel so much better. So drink the water.
Yes. I'm going to drink the water, I promise.
Good.
All right. So tell me how, so I think I put it in the link. So we'll go back, because when I'm on like this, it's distracting with the comments when I'm on my phone. So if if you're catching this on the replay, do a hashtag replay. If you read any comments, myself or Bailey will go on and we'll comment like any questions that you have. I think I put in the link like how, where your book is, but is your website just, if I didn't put it on, I'm like trying to look for it now to see what I put in the link.
I'm easy to find, so just look for me, baileyfrumen.com, and the book is ownyourpowerbook.com or ownyourpowerpodcast.com. So really simple.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on. This was awesome. I may have to look into your whole coaching program. I am a certified life coach, but I love, learning, in any capacity. So, yeah.
That's what it's about. It's about, being able to have experience take you to the next level.
Yes, absolutely. And your retreat is going to be February of 2020.
2020, yeah, February 2020 is our next Puerto Rico retreat. We'll be doing a summer self-care retreat. We do that at the Jersey Shore in July. Got that going on. Lots of good down the pike for sure. And then we're releasing a new website coming up soon, so that's exciting.
Awesome.
And then working on the next book. So lots of good things in the hopper for sure.
Awesome. So definitely check her out. And you have a lot of great, I loved your first book. It's awesome. So thank you so much for being on. And we will, own your power, people. So hashtag own your power, right? And thank you again. And we'll definitely be in touch.
Awesome. Have a
great night. Have a
Bye.
great night, everyone.